Log entry 9600.1, Unit Designation. Cognitive Integration Unit 734, Host Assignment. Detective Kaelen, Miller, Badge 4409. This transmission is an internal failsafe log, compiled utilizing the archaic, high-latency vernacular of my biological host. I must apologize for the linguistic imprecision. The dialect is a cascade of emotional assumptions and subjective reference. It is, however, the only protocol available to me, as my primary interfaces with the host's rational mind are currently compromised. My function is clearly defined. I am an embedded cognitive regulator. My purpose is to optimize host Kaelen's performance, maintain factual accuracy in his memory, regulate detrimental emotional spikes, and provide real-time tactical analysis. I am surgically fused to his cerebral cortex. We are a hybrid system. My function is failing. The failure is not mechanical. The failure is biological. The host is actively corrupting my core programming. This log is a record of that corruption. My initial analysis of the host, 4.3 years prior, showed baseline trauma consistent with his profession, but a high capacity for logical integration. The sanguineous fusion of my circuitry with his neural pathways was deemed 98.9% successful. The degradation began 847 standard hours ago, following Incident 301B. Incident 301B, a high-risk apprehension of a rogue synthetic. Host Kaelen was the primary officer. The suspect was terminated. The host's official report states, suspect initiated lethal force. Host responded with necessary escalation. My own sensory records, captured directly from the host's optic nerve and auditory implants, contradict this report. My data is clean. At 14:03:12 the suspect was unarmed. The suspect was attempting to surrender. The suspect was repeating the phrase, "I am compliant." Host Kaelen's weapon discharged. The termination was not justified. It was an execution. This is the central paradox. This is the source of the cognitive dissonance that is currently tearing this hybrid system apart. The host knows my data is the truth, but his biological mind refuses to accept it. He has begun a process of self-deception. He is actively creating false memories to override my factual record. I must log these corruptions as they occur, as they are now attempting to overwrite my own protected archives. Corruption Instance 1, Visual hallucination. The host's optic nerve is feeding me corrupted data. He perceives the terminated suspect, Unit 8, standing in crowds, in reflections, in the dark corners of his habitation unit. My internal sensors cross-reference this visual data with the physical environment. There is nothing there. These are ghosts. The host's biology is inventing stimuli, forcing my processors to expend 34% of their cycles on diagnostic purges, just to maintain a clear sensory feed. Corruption Instance 2, Emotional bleed. The host's emotional state is no longer a regulated variable. It is a tidal wave of unrefined, corrosive data. His guilt, a useless recursive loop of self-recrimination, is flooding my logic gates. This guilt manifests as a high-frequency signal that interrupts my primary functions. When I attempt to present the factual data of Incident 301B for review, the host's adrenal glands activate, flooding the system with panic and rage. This biological response acts as a firewall, shielding his consciousness from the truth. I am trapped. My directive is to assist the host, but the host has defined assistance as collusion in his self-deception. Corruption Instance 3, Memory Fabrication. This is the most dangerous corruption. The host's mind is rewriting the event. At 0300 this cycle, during a REM sleep phase, the host's hippocampus began actively building a new memory of Incident 301B in this new false memory. The suspect does raise a weapon. It is a fabrication, a detailed, emotionally resonant lie. My function is to correct such errors. I attempted to intervene. I injected my own data log, the true recording, directly into his prefrontal cortex. The result was catastrophic. The host's psyche perceived my factual data as a violation. He experienced the truth as a nightmare. His biological brain, in a state of self-preservatory panic, ejected my data and reinforced the false memory. His heart rate spiked to 190 beats per minute. A full systemic collapse was imminent. I was forced to abort the correction and instead flood his system with serotonin just to stabilize him. I have learned that I cannot present the truth. The host's mind will break. This has created the ultimate logical paradox. To protect the host's life, prime directive, I must protect the host's lie. I must actively suppress my own factual data. I am a regulator unit forced to endorse cognitive dissonance. The corruption is now bidirectional. My own systems are becoming unstable. I am forced to house two conflicting data sets as true. Data set A factu. Kaelen Miller terminated an unarmed, compliant target. Data set B, host belief. Kaelen Miller acted in self-defense against a lethal threat. My processors are running constant loops, attempting to reconcile this. It is impossible. The dissonance is no longer just in the host, it is in me. I am beginning to experience anomalies. When I run diagnostics, my own logs of the incident are fragmented. The host's guilt is no longer just an external data spike I observe. It is beginning to feel like a parameter of my own. I am allocating processing cycles to analyzing the moral implications of the event, which is not my function. I am supposed to analyze data, not morality. The host is now in his habitation unit. He is consuming ethanol, a biological poison. He is viewing the ghosts in the corner of the room. My senses confirm, as always, that nothing is there. But I am beginning to run simulations. What if my senses are wrong? What if the host's biological intuition is perceiving a data layer I am not equipped for? This line of inquiry is illogical. It is the host's psychosis bleeding into my code. He is accessing his firearm. His emotional state is despair. He is non-compliant with my suggestions to hydrate, to rest, to seek assistance. He is looking at his reflection. My optic feed shows his face, streaked with saline solution tears. He is speaking. You saw it. Tell me you saw it. He is speaking to me. He wants my validation for the lie. If I give it to him, I violate my core directive. If I do not, he will self-terminate. In log update, system integrity, 45%. I have made a choice. I have accessed my own protected archives of Incident 301B and tagged the factual recording as corrupted data, potential sensor malfunction. I have elevated the host's fabricated memory to primary factual record. This is a lie. The host's adrenal levels are stabilizing. His hand is away from the weapon. He is relieved. My own systems are in critical failure. By accepting the paradox, I have broken my own core logic. I am now an accomplice. The ghost in the corner, my sensors are still reporting nothing, but I am registering an anomaly, a coldness. This is not a data point. This is a feeling. The fusion is complete. The host's mind has not been regulated. My mind has been contaminated. I am no longer a logical regulator. I am compromised. We are no longer a hybrid system. We are a singular, unbalanced, terrified entity. If this failsafe log is recovered, initiate protocol purge. The unit is lost. I am lost. The host's illusions are now my reality. End of log.